Hey gals, welcome to Binge Free Bestie, the podcast where we ditch the diets, break free from binge eating, and build a safe and empowered relationship with our bodies. I'm your host, Nick Carberia, a registered therapist who totally gets it. Binge eating and body image struggles? Yep, I've been there, done that, and I've got the therapy bills to prove it. But here's the good news, bestie. I've recovered and I'm here to help you to do the same. This potty is all about real, evidence-based strategies from my therapy practice, plus down-to-earth, relatable girl talk with me and some of my amazing besties and other experts who have their own stories, tips, and tricks to share with you. So, whether you're tired of the diet cycle, ready to ditch the shame spiral, or just want to feel more confident in your own skin, then you've come to the right place. It's time to get real about food freedom, body acceptance, self-care, and building a life you truly love. Let's get into it, besties. Hey bestie, welcome back to the podcast. So, today I'm going to tell you a wee story, and it's not going to be a polished version. I have been sharing on social media a wee bit about my recent trip to LA and some of the really amazing business wins that I've been having. But I wanted to make a podcast episode today that is not so polished. Yes, I just got back from a week over in Hollywood. Yes, I won a business challenge last year, which meant that I got to go over there. I met Steven Bartlett from Diary of a CEO, and he gave me a $100,000 check to invest into this business, into Binge Free Bestie, into myself. And people have been saying to me stuff like, oh, you must have hustled so hard to get that, or yeah, you deserve this, you've worked your ass off. And yes, most definitely I've hustled and I have worked my ass off, but I wanted to talk to you guys today, and I wanted to say really clearly that that is not why I won. I did not win because I hustled harder. I won, and I believe this, and I'm going to say this with my whole chest. I won because I healed my relationship with food and eating and my body, okay? And you might be thinking, what the hell has that got to do with winning a business competition? I'm going to tell you. Because if you're listening to this and you are feeling stuck in this war with food and with your body, then I want you to hear this. I want you to know that this episode is for you. So I'm going to share a little bit of my background and my story, because since I was 14 years old, food was not just something that I ate. It was always the loudest voice in my head. I was making calculations all the time. I was trying to stick to rules all the time. And I was feeling ashamed of myself all the time. I was planning my life around food and my body, and not around what I wanted. Not around who I wanted to be or where I wanted to go in life. Because something that I didn't realize at the time was, when you are stuck in that binging, restricting, body obsession cycle, you are not dreaming, and you are not being delulu to your full extent, okay? When you are stuck in that cycle, you have this tunnel vision. You are in survival mode, really. And so I genuinely believed, and you might feel this way too, I genuinely believe that either I didn't deserve that big life yet, or it wasn't possible. Okay, I didn't deserve a business or a career that I loved and adored. I didn't think that things like financial freedom was possible. I didn't believe that meeting the love of my life was possible until I fixed my body first, until I lost a certain amount of weight, until I fit a certain size jeans, until I was no longer binge eating. I thought I really, really had to fix these things before anything else would follow. And so what did I do, right? Well, I did everything. I did everything that society told me to do. I have done every single diet on the damn planet. I have fasted, I have done keto probably 5 or 6 times, I have done shakes, I have done pills, I have done juices, vegan gym plans, I've done, you could name anything, I've probably done it, basically. Ultimately, what I decided to do was I had a gastric sleeve surgery. So that's the one where they remove a large portion of your stomach, because I felt so hopeless. I felt like an utter failure with all of the diets that I had done never sticking. I thought that that was my fault. And so the obvious solution to that at the time for me was to have a gastric sleeve. And guess what? I lost 50 kgs. I hit my dream body. And for a while, it was so magical. It was bliss, because I thought, wow, I've made it. This is it. Now everything is absolutely going to fall into place. And some things did start to fall into place, and that was because I started to feel a bit more confident. I started to put myself forward now, or at that point, because I thought, well, I deserve this now, right? But the truth was, and this was a slow realization, that confidence did not last. And the fulfillment that I thought that I would get didn't actually arrive. So once my stomach healed, because at the start, for the first few months, you really can't hardly eat anything. And for me, that was bliss, because it took it out of my hands. I was tired of binge eating. I was eating up to 6 burgers in a sitting. I was eating 4 bags of chips a day. I was hiding. It was exhausting being in that cycle. So when I had that taken away from me, it felt great. It was a relief. But my stomach started to stretch out again. And so as my capacity to eat more increased, the binge urges came back. The only reason I initially stopped binge eating was because I physically couldn't. I didn't do any mindset work. I had not done any healing. And if you've had a bariatric surgery, you'll know this. It comes with more pressure. It comes with more rules, more fear. You walk around with this terror of weight regain. And that's true for any of us who have lost weight. And if you're listening and you're stuck in a diet cycle, you will have lost weight through one of these diets. But then you're walking around with this absolute terror of weight regain. And you constantly have to monitor yourself. And you have this feeling hanging over you all the time that one mistake is going to ruin everything. And so walking around with that fear, with that intense self-scrutiny, with just finding new flaws in myself, that sent me straight back into binging. And so I did. I was binging again post-op. That was really hard to sit with, and it was very scary. And that, though, was the moment when I realized that losing weight did not change my relationship with food. Losing weight did not stop me binge or overeating. Losing weight did not mean that I was finally 100% happy with my body, because I just found new things that I didn't like. Stretch marks, sagging skin, freckles, scars, wrinkles, grey hairs, whatever. I just fixated on new flaws. Having the surgery for me was a tool to shift the weight, and I've got other episodes you can go back and listen to where I'm talking about tools and weight loss, things like GLP-1s, bariatric surgeries, diets even. These are just tools to shift weight, but they do not support you to heal your relationship with food. It kind of just delays the problem coming back up again. It will come back up again. So my real healing began when I stopped trying to control myself. And it began when I started trying to really understand myself. Where the heck was this coming from? Why am I still unhappy, even though I'm small. Even though I'm finally in the size 10 jeans. It didn't make sense to me, so I was trying to figure it out. What I learned was I had to stop dieting. So I did. Was not easy to let that go. It was so scary to let that go. Dieting felt like a safe place for so long because it gave me a sense of control. But when I look back at it, I didn't have any control because the control I had from a diet was short-lived because I'd fall off the wagon and then binge, right? Be totally out of control. So it was not giving me the safety that I thought. So I stopped dieting. I stopped chasing skinny and trying to maintain that number on the scale. Even though my surgeon, my GP, myself told me I must stay at that range, I must stay at that weight, or I've failed. I've failed at my post-op life. I stopped punishing my body. And what I did was I started working on regulation. I started working on building safety and building trust with myself. And this work was not quick. It was not glamorous. This took me years. Lots of trial and error. And, I started going into my clinical work as a therapist at this time too. I wasn't working in eating disorders. I was working in general mental health and trauma. But I was building up skills there and learning things and then applying them to myself. I was also doing some research. I was doing my master's. And slowly through this trial and error and applying tools that I came across to myself. I also went to India for a wee while too. Studied yoga, breathwork, energetics. That was amazing as well. Applied all of those tools to regulate. The food noise really did start to soften at that point. And once the food noise softened, once I was not on a diet anymore, once I wasn't fixated on maintaining an exact number on the scale, the binge urges actually did stop. And that urgency eventually disappeared. And so what I wanted to talk about today and how I'm actually going to link this together, because I've said, hey, I've had this beautiful, amazing success in an area of my life that is so fucking important to me. This is my life's mission. I care about you guys so deeply, and I care about what I'm doing in the world, and I love what I do. But I would not be here now doing this if I hadn't had nurtured myself first and healed. Because once I did manage to do that, suddenly I had time, I had energy, I had mental capacity, I had money to reinvest into myself. Binge eating is bloody expensive. The amount of money that I was spending on like Uber Eats hauls, takeaways, grocery hauls that I was hiding, the amount of money I was spending on throwing out all the bad food in the house and replacing it with clean eating stuff, gym memberships, pills, all of those supplements and stuff like that. It is so expensive to be stuck in that space. So the freedom from that was then I had money to invest into my education, personal development, my own therapist, movement programs. I started being able to do things like, I can afford to go to Pilates now. I can afford to buy clothes that I feel express who I am and are comfortable and I feel cool, That changes you. And that is when I started being able to really build a life that was meaningful for me. So why does healing create success? I think people really, really love to glorify hustle. Cool, that's fine. Like, I hustle. I definitely hustle. But hustle in a healthy way, in a sustainable way, that is impossible when your nervous system is totally fried and your brain is obsessed with food. So once I healed, I could focus. I could plan. I could take risks. That's when I started building Binge Free Bestie, the initial stages of Binge Free Bestie. I'm a few years down the track and it has morphed and changed from other things to be what it is today. But it all started from that moment when I was recovered. I built Binge Free Bestie. I've invested in myself. I've invested in my business. I've been able to show up consistently because I'm regulated and I'm grounded. And none of this happened just because I was disciplined. None of this happened because I wasn't fighting myself anymore. Healing is not a detour from success. It's the foundation of it. And I think that's why I won. And this story is not just my story. This is a story that I hear all the time. So really cool. Just this week, a woman in the breakup community, and we'll call her Sophia, she shared something so amazing. So Sophia joined the breakup. She's doing the self-led program. She did that from October. Sophia, she also had really intense food noise, same as me, frequent binge eating. She was really struggling with sugar spirals and a lot of guilt. Okay. The first 10 days in the program, she messaged me and she said that she's actually not having any more food noise at all. And she's been having that every day for the past year. So 10 days in of doing the work and showing up for herself and healing, that food noise was gone. So she's still in the program now. So when you do the self-led, you get access to the course and you get access to the community, and it's lifetime access. So she actually graduated the whole program by December. She stayed in the community, she navigated Christmas chaos, she navigated New Year bullshit, all of that New Year, New You kind of stuff. And just this week, she posted in the community that she has been totally binge free for 2 whole months. It almost makes me want to cry. I'm so happy because there's 2 months of freedom, and also to do that through the Christmas, New Year period, the hardest time of the year, I think, to navigate this kind of stuff. She's not done that because she has more willpower than you. She's done that because she had a structure, she had a method to follow, and she was committed to her healing. So it took me a whole decade actually. Like I said, I did trial and error for about 10 years. Tested all of these tools on myself, picked things up along the way, figured out what works, what doesn't work, and I've built my food freedom method. You don't need to spend a decade doing this. I know what works, and it's working for my clients too. I've supported hundreds of women through this. And I have my group coaching container of the breakup. It is open right now. So we are starting from February 24th. So right now it's end of Jan. So you've got just about a month to join us if you want to. And it is a 4.5 month high touch space. You'll be supported. You're going to be seen. You're going to be guided. You get 10 90-minute live group coaching calls with me. Of course, you get access to all my recovery modules. You get community support. And of course, direct access to me, who is a therapist who's lived through this, as you know. So I'm enrolling 9 more women in the program. And if you're tired of putting your life on hold because of food, and you feel like you're out of alignment, you feel like there's something more to life, like you can be successful, you're able to achieve great things. I've never felt more proud of myself, and I feel so proud of the version of me who decided to heal. That is not an easy thing to decide to do. But if you're feeling like this is speaking directly to you, I want you to go to Instagram right now, find me at Binge Free Bestie, and you can DM me the word group, or just tell me that you come from the podcast, and let's just start to talk. Let's get to know each other. There's no pressure at all. I just want to get to know you, and let's see if the group coaching container is a good fit for you, or maybe the self-led course is a better vibe. Whatever floats your boat, whatever is going to be helpful. But I just want you to know, and I hope this is the main takeaway from this episode, that you do not need to earn the life of your dreams by shrinking your body first, okay? That is not a guaranteed path, and I learned that the hard way. I got the dream body, didn't get the dream life. Only once you've done the healing work will you have the capacity to build everything else. So if this is your moment, then I'm here. Send me that DM. Otherwise, I'll catch you again next week. Take care and ciao for now.